Next, let's run another dbgen example from multiple input data files. First, turn on Database in M1 and select Generate DB in M2. The menu for Generate DB will be shown. Its menu setup is the same as single input data file except the following items. For input test data source, select Multiple Tests option. Then click Menu button to select Input Dynamic Data Files. Let's select the first 11 tests from DemoDB01 to DemoDB11. All selected DD files will be listed in right box. An optional Open Save setting can be used to save the selected file group for recall later. Notice that there is no need to select in-out PD files even if PD is required for input, to, mode. This is because the program will automatically find all the required PD files associated with the DD based on the PD type and folder specified in DefineDB. Also, during DB generation, the input mode of PC signal will be set to input, M. The next step is to specify the processing time for each test. Click Processing Time button. A timetable will be shown, which lists all input data files, and the start time and end time for each file. Double-click on any cell to enter a desired time. In the bottom part of the timetable, there are 3 rows of Set All to which provide a shortcut to set up the table for all files. Click on the first file cell will set all files start time to the first file's start time. Same thing for end time. Click on the file start cell will set start time of each file to its start time. Same thing for end time. If an offset is desired for each file's start time or end time, then click on the cell to apply offset. Simply enter the desired offset time in a pop-up box. The next step is channel assignment. Inconsistent channel ID or channel sequence is an inherent issue for batch processing of multiple test data. In other words, during DefineDB, the channels to be processed for each DB page is based on the setup test. But during GenerateDB, the tests to be processed could have different channel ID or sequence than the setup test. For example, the channel list for the first 4 input tests from DemoDB1 to DemoDB4 are shown here. DemoDB1 is setup test. During DefineDB, its 3-channel, the speed XL1 and XL2 were used to define this demo database project. However, for DemoDB2, its channel sequence is inconsistent with the setup test. Also for DemoDB3, its channel ID is inconsistent with the setup test. The speed channel becomes SPD, and XL becomes ACC. For DemoDB4 and all the remaining 7 tests, it all have the same channel ID and sequence with setup test. Such inconsistent channel ID or sequence further complicates batch processing of multiple test data. To deal with this, a couple of channel options is available. Since the channel sequence for the second input test DemoDB2 is different than the setup test, we need to turn on the option to use channel ID for channel assignment. Otherwise, it will base on the channel sequence number in the original setup data, which would be incorrect for this input data. Also, since the 3 selected channel ID for the 3ND input test DemoDB3 have different channel ID than setup test, we need to also turn on the option to apply channel ID alias, and click the Open button to build a channel ID alias table, such as making SPD to be an alias of speed, and ACC be an alias of XL. After channel ID alias is defined, before starting the dbgen, click on Check Channel button, which will check if all the required processing channels from all input tests are available and correctly found. A check channel table will be shown to summarize the channel check result. For example, For the second input test demo DB2, even though its channel sequence is different than the setup test. Channel check still found the required 3 channels, speed, XL1 and XL2. For the third input test, demo DB3, even though its channel ID are different than the setup test. But with the help of channel ID alias, it still found the correct channels, SPD, ACC1 and ACC2. When batch processing a large number of input tests, such channel check can provide a useful overall summary to indicate if all required channels are available before starting a big job of database run. Now click Start, and it will start processing all the 11 input data files and generate all DB pages test after test. The actual processing and data plot is not shown in this demo video. After the database run is completed, it will save all the output files into the output database folder for later recall. These include all the data plot from demo DB1, demo DB2, demo DB3, demo DB4, up to demo DB11. Each input test will generate 10 parent plots, 1 per DB page. Pages. Some DB page will also generate an additional populated plot such as for page 6, 7, and 9. These output DB files can be recalled later for database statistical analysis. In addition, a PowerPoint report file will also be produced for each input test which contains all data plots generated by the DB run.